Are you ready?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest installment of the greatest ever here from the Pro Wrestling Report. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero here on a Wednesday. And what a series it's been so far.
You know, this greatest ever series has been interesting. I mean, I have read the comments. I have engaged with some of our viewers on just
relations,
their thoughts and views and idiocies. Is that a word? I don't know.
Idiosyncrasies?
Yeah, that whatever. And, I mean, there is no right or wrong choice in greatest. I mean, everyone has their own opinion. I mean,
no. When I declare a greatest ever here on this broadcast,
I have a doctorate of opinionology.
That's the greatest ever.
But you never really take a stand on who you want to be the greatest ever.
Taking a stand with my T-shirt this week.
What is it? It's a comb.
No, it's a Cody Rhodes shirt.
Oh, those were marked down, weren't they?
They were not marked down when I bought it at full price.
You should have waited a week.
When he had the mustache. And if you could erase your hate, I understand that we're still suffering from hashtag goodbye Cody.
Cody
last appearance
is
on the JBL
costing my super friend Gold Dust victories.
And he removed himself from the equation to help your super friend Gold.
But instead of trying to fix it, he quit.
It's an all-new summer series here on the Pro Wrestling Report, folks, where we take a look at the greatest
summer
ever
drink?
In several categories.
We need a summer drink here, don't we?
A summer drink?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Malibu pineapple. Isn't that your favorite?
Not mine. I know a Malibu.
And a pineapple?
Oh, that would be the greatest ever.
For years, the debate has raged on as to who is the greatest ever. And this week, or every week, we're going to discuss candidates in the selected category leading up to SummerSlam. This week's category is the greatest play-by-play man ever. Wrestling is all about storytelling, and in addition to the men in the ring telling a physical story, you have a man sitting at ringside telling an even more detailed story and filling in the blanks. A good wrestling play-by-play man will do so without you really noticing that they're there. They complement the action in the ring without taking anything away from the talented performers in the ring. They are our window to the action. Now, there's a list of play-by-play men that qualify for the greatest ever, such as Mike Tenay, Michael Cole, Joey Styles, and even...
Michael Cole?
Michael Cole's great at what he does. And even Tony Schiavone.
Oh, come on. You put Schiavone in there? No one liked working with him.
He defined an era, unfortunately, over in WCW.
Well, because nobody else could do it.
There's his maneuver. But even with this very impressive list, or maybe not impressive, it really boils down to the few that are at the top of the heap, and there are four. Good old JR Jim Ross, Vince McMahon, Gordon Solie, and Joey Styles.
What? You are missing one.
Who's that?
Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah, he's right there. I said it.
No, you didn't.
Gorilla Monsoon, the man who taught me what a trapezius muscle was. Absolutely,
and
he is one of the finalists.
Maximus, which is what you're being right now by not having him on the list.
He's on the list. We just mentioned him on the list. Yes, he's on the list. He's a finalist. There's a final five.
Okay. Jeez, Christmas.
So let's count down to the greatest play-by-play man ever by the process of elimination. So they are, just in case you didn't hear it the first time, Joey Styles, Vince McMahon, Jim Ross, Gordon Solie, and Gorilla
Monsoon. All five guys are tremendous. I mean, they all had their own special, unique way. I mean, Gordon Solie and Joey Styles did it by themselves. They didn't have a color guy, a funny ha-ha guy. They didn't have a Heenan or a Ventura with them. And
when Gordon worked with others, I don't think he was as good.
No, because he was so used to calling the action by himself.
And, you know, his era, you know, each of these men had such a different style. And in Gordon Solie's era, it wasn't about, I guess, overselling, you could call it.
Gordon Solie had to sell job matches. I mean, it was all enhancement talent. I mean, he wasn't really calling the main events. He was at the Superstation. He was on the...
In a studio.
He was in the studio with like 85 people around the ring calling matches where, you know, Brad Armstrong against whoever it could be, or Ted DiBiase against, you know, Terry Gibbs, for all I, you know what I mean? It was always enhancement talent. So they had to do a more interesting job to keep the talent engaged. I mean, but Gordon Solie is one of the greatest of all time. He really is. I mean, then you got Vince McMahon, who
never really called the action, but called the action.
But Vince had a different reason to be the guy out there because it was his company. He wanted to make sure his ideas and stories were being put out there to let the audience
you gotta
know.
Do it yourself.
Absolutely.
Joey Styles, similar to Gordon Solie in the way that his most notable time was in ECW when he was alone calling the action. And again, not all marquee matches, but all great matches. Well,
but
not
he
all
had to
great
call
matches.
a lot of nonsense and
He had to
shenanigans.
call a lot of nonsense and shenanigans.
You know?
and he did a great job.
He did a great job.
Nothing was missing from Joey Styles'
oh my God, from Joey Styles.
Yeah.
That's iconic. And you know, he had to be creative on his own, quick-witted on his own. He didn't have someone to play off of. I mean, imagine what you'd have to do if I wasn't here. You'd have no one to play off of. Be a nightmare for you.
I've got several people waiting in the wings to fill your seat when your contract expires
Mitzi?
in 2022.
Bring Mitzi back? So.
Mitzi is broken.
Pop that.
So, Gorilla Monsoon paired with Bobby Heenan. Jim Ross paired with Jerry the King Lawler. Vince McMahon paired with
Heenan or Savage or
Piper.
Jim Neidhart for a while.
Or, of course, Jesse the Body Ventura.
Right.
Back to you, McMahon.
And that's what made
Who
them
are
good.
you going to eliminate first? This is a tough one. They get tougher and tougher each week. Greatest ever. You know what? Greatest play-by-play wrestling commentator ever.
I'm going to take Vince McMahon off first.
Okay.
Simply because he wasn't on equal footing with Jesse Ventura. Jesse was more entertaining. Like JR and King, equal footing.
Yeah.
Heenan and Monsoon, equal footing.
Yeah.
Vince and Jesse was a little bit of a bigger star.
Agreed. All right, McMahon eliminated. That leaves 4. Jim Ross, Gordon Solie, Joey Styles, and Gorilla Monsoon.
I'll be honest, this is, out of all the greatest evers we've had, this is the toughest one for me. Because they were all so good in their own way, and they're both, all of them were being asked to do something that is different than being an in-ring performer. It's their job to make sure that the stories are being told so the fans tune in next week or to buy tickets to the live events.
Which is back to the point of Michael Cole.
But they don't do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore, but Michael Cole is better at being a play-by-play commentator than any of us are allowed to realize because the role has evolved in such a way that there is no Jim Ross calling wrestling anymore, nor will that style be calling wrestling anymore, because the business has evolved, and the business that is now is, I think, Michael Cole does a great job at it.
He does. I'm going to eliminate Joey Styles.
Okay.
Just no knock on him.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he made the final. He's nominated.
He did. And this one, it pains me to do this. But then Gorilla Monsoon is the next one to go.
Shut your mouth. Will you stop?
Seriously.
Are you kidding me?
Here's why. Because at times, Gorilla Monsoon, as good as he was gimmicky.
Yeah.
Okay? He had all, the funny ha-ha things, the gluteus maximus, protuberance, all that kind of
vertical base.
All that. But at times,
crimson mask.
But at times, Gorilla, he was there more to reel in Bobby.
Yeah.
Than to actually call the matches.
WrestleMania 8, I think, was their best work ever, those two. Bobby Heenan was, the Royal Rumble 1992. Bobby Heenan was completely ridiculous.
Stop? Yes.
Ridiculous. He was threatening to leave the booth. It was all about Flair winning and all this stuff. I mean, just gold. They enhanced that event. Which is why I think that's on the Bobby Heenan DVD, that entire match, the Royal Rumble match.
But what I'm saying is Gorilla could be number one. He really could be.
Absolutely.
Gordon Solie could be number one. Jim Ross could be number one. Which
We've
means
got the 2 remaining.
Gordon Solie
and Jim Ross.
Extremely talented. He was kind of the model for Jim Ross.
Yeah.
But again, Gordon Solie, he was a storyteller, but he was not Jim Ross. Okay? As good as Gordon Solie is, and everyone's going to say he's the best, or Gorilla's the best, or JR's the best, or Joey Styles was the best because what he had to work with. I'm going to go with Jim Ross, overall number one. And here's why. more people, and of course because he's more current, I understand that. And you know, if Gordon Solie was calling matches today, maybe he'd have catchphrases. But more people be like, "By God, slobber knocker! Oh my God, he broke it in half! You know, you killed him."
A Pier 6, a Donnybrook.
I mean, so
that's what Gordon Solie left us with.
And if you look at the Attitude Era, all the different stars that were relevant, they all meant something. It's because Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross told the story and got the viewers engaged and told them backstories about them. The Rock and Austin, two of the biggest stars ever. But I don't know if they're two of the biggest stars ever if Joey Styles is in Jim Ross's spot.
Yeah, let's be fair here, too. Jim Ross had much better material to work with than Gordon Solie did.
Gordon
Gordon
Solie had Ric Flair. He had the Four Horsemen.
The pacing.
He had Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
He had the Road Warriors. He had Ivan and Nikita, Magnum TA.
No, he did.
He had great talent to work with.
So,
but all of them did not have the production value that Jim Ross has to work with. But Jim Ross is a smart guy.
But Gordon Solie was never, as far as I know, involved in an angle. When did Jim Ross get as popular as Jim Ross got? After that angle with Dr. Death in 1999.
I don't know about that. He was good.
He was good. He was great. He was perfect before then. And actually, it was 96, 97. I'm sorry. The McMahon.
Gordon Solie was never physical, but it was a different time.
Oh, exactly. I'm not saying Solie should be knocked for it, but fans became more passionate about Jim Ross because they saw his side when he talked about getting fired twice by Vince McMahon back in '96, and then being fired because of his Bell's palsy, and then the JR is Raw. Remember the little desk with Dr. Death and slapping Bart Gunn in the face. The fans were able to get more into JR's passion for the business, and he became a character, if you will, in and of himself, whereas Gordon Solie was never a character.
No. And just a different time where announcers meant something different.
Yeah.
But like I said, they all could be number. I love Gorilla Monsoon. He was fantastic. He's a guy that, you know, when we talk about this show, we like Heenan and Monsoon. We like what they do. It's a coin flip. All of them can be number one except for Vince McMahon.
Jim Ross, ladies and gentlemen, deemed the greatest play-by-play broadcaster ever right here on this broadcast. Share your feedback with us. Let us know what you think, why not, and perhaps we will include your comment on
Perhaps,
Friday.
maybe. I hope not.
For that one, folks, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you again Friday for Feedback Friday on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in.